Tariffs are here. Well, for now at least. And with that, there's all kinds of conversation surrounding construction costs and the job market. With all this speculation, everyone's wondering how it's going to affect our real estate market, but there's one outcome that almost nobody's talking about. Stick around till the end and I'll tell you what it is. I'm Sean P. I'm a real estate agent in Victoria, BC, and I make these videos to help people understand our market. If this is useful to you, please like and subscribe so you don't miss anything that we have coming up. And if you want to connect with me directly to discuss your plans, you can use the link in the description to do just that. All right, let's jump into today's video. Coming into March, we're still sitting in a balanced market. Now, it's been 5 consecutive months now that we've been seeing significant growth in the number of sales we're seeing on a monthly basis when compared with last year. The challenge in our market is that we are still sitting on a tremendous amount of standing inventory. Now, it's a challenge in that it has essentially held our pricing exactly where it is for well over a year now. But in reality, this creates really favorable environment for all kinds of different transactions. So a lot of people think that this is just fine. After the past decade or so that we've seen with housing prices going so crazy, I think it gives a little bit of a reprise to people who just want to be able to navigate a transaction in a more predictable way. The big thing that's unpredictable right now is how tariffs are going to affect us. And now that they're here to stay, I'd like to spend the majority of this episode exploring that. So let's dig into it. There's no doubt that these tariffs are going to affect our housing market. It's something that we know will affect every aspect of our economy. And with that, at the same time, it can feel a little bit daunting to understand how it will actually impact our residential resale market, because a Canadian selling their home to another Canadian is something that's so far removed from international trade. So what is it really going to do to our housing market? Well, I see 4 main areas that it's going to draw an impact, and I'd like to explore those, starting with construction costs. Construction costs are undoubtedly going to go up. Builders rely on imported materials consistently throughout the construction process, and we don't have the means to pop up production of this to offset any rising costs that we have for American components. With that, it's going to increase the cost of construction, which is going to mean that builders will need to charge more for new inventory, and the cost of renovating homes to prepare them for sale will go up. This is going to cause a ripple effect throughout the rest of our industry, but to what extent consumers are going to be ready to pay the increased price is a question mark. Now, this leads directly to point number 2. As construction costs continue to go up, builders will be forced to sell new product for higher prices. Now, that sounds fine, but there's only so much of an extent that Canadian consumers are going to be okay with this, and at a certain point, they're just going to stop buying. If a builder isn't completely convinced that they'll be able to sell out a project, they just won't build it. And with Canada already being way behind on our housing inventory goals to get back into affordability by 2030, having anything contribute to this gap is something that really can hurt us. Less homes being built means less homes available for Canadians, and with a continually growing demand, that will just outbalance supply and demand and continue to exacerbate the challenges we've seen in terms of pricing over the past decade. So builders choosing not to build because of the cost of construction and a lack of acceptance in the market for the new normal price is something that could really hurt our housing stock decades from now. Now, the third thing that we need to consider is the overall economic impact on a local scale. If construction slows down, that will mean that builders are hiring fewer trades. Well, fewer trades being hired means that they're going to have less wages to spend in our local economy, and it could ripple further than we think. With all of this, there's also a high potential that investors are going to slow down their activities just due to the uncertainty of what's coming next. Very few investors are going to want to put their money into a market when they don't know how that market's going to perform, so they might choose to make their investments elsewhere, and ultimately that could contribute to a further slowing of our market. So, is our market going to crash? Well, I don't think so, and only time will tell ultimately. But it will be an interesting year as we watch the balance between rising construction costs and whatever effects this all has on consumer confidence. Now, at the beginning of the video, I teased that there's one outcome almost no one's talking about that I think is actually quite likely. And that's that maybe nothing comes of all this for our market here in Victoria. And here's why. Our market in Victoria has always been a destination market. People don't move here very often for a specific job. More often, people move here for lifestyle and then they find a job. And so, changes to the cost of construction or our job market aren't likely to ripple into the fact that people still want to live in Victoria. And if we combine that with the pent up demand over the past few years as interest rates have made it really challenging to afford a home, I still think we're going to see a lot of people choosing to transact in 2025. So, with that said, I'd love to hear your opinions. So drop some comments in the comment section and I'll make sure to get back to anyone. If you have a question specific to your plans, I'd love to connect with you and you can use the link in the description to do that. Again, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. And as always, thanks for watching.